Hello, spirit friends and family, and welcome to Tea&Tarot. Today we're going to start with making a little brew. It's early, so I was going to start with a little Scottish breakfast tea. This is really good stuff. And to that, I thought that I needed a little something extra this morning, so I'm going to add a couple of scoops of cacao nibs. Look at those delicious things. And because it's harvest time and I've just been getting some and drying some lovely calendula out of the garden, just going to put in a few dried calendula, keep the warmth of the sun going. And then to that, dear, use just some boiling water. That would be 100 degrees Celsius, 212 Fahrenheit. And we're just going to let that steep. We're going to get started now. We have three wonderful objects to work with today. We have this wonderful antique watch, a matchbook with a lovely heart on it, and a little vessel full of books. So take a few moments and choose your grouping. Again, we have the watch, the heart matchbook, and a vessel full of books. Okay, if you decided that you're going to go for this wonderful antique watch, perhaps there's something in your life that you need to take some time with, or perhaps these watches worked on a winding system, so maybe you need to have something wound in your life. I don't know, just a suggestion. We're going to put this right up there. We're going to start with a couple of draws from some oracle decks to get us started here. Wow. Slippery today. Oop, 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 oop. That one jumped right out. Okay. Gonna grab another deck really quickly. Let's go with this one. And we're going to actually draw one archetype card today, too. I just really enjoy, all right, I guess it's that one. Really enjoy the mixture of oracle and archetypes to get us started on our contemplation. Okay, let's see what we've got. Listening. There's a wonderful, beautiful elephant there. You have the card of the Bard's Collection. Oh, and you have, what do you know? You have the Hermit card. So, dearies, as many of you know, the Hermit is the card of Virgo in the traditional tarot deck, and a wonderful card for introspection and solitude and going inward to work on personal creativity. And I love this mixture of oracle cards here because You also, right beside of that, you have the Bard's Collection, and you have listening. And listening, let's pick this one up first. Listening actually has these wonderful musical notes coming up. As you know, the elephant is a wonderful, emotional, and intelligent creature. And so these are kind of laying the ground for our tarot reading. The Bard's Collection also, well, a bard is a wonderful example of the hermit, as the bard is a collector of stories, a collector of song, and once upon a time would travel from location to location to bring not only entertainment but wisdom and pass on messages. Yeah. So let's draw some cards here. So far, so good. Ah. Okay, we're going to take these, take a couple from the middle here. I'm going to put the Hermit over here to ground us and anchor us in the reading. And let's see what we've got. Okay, timepiece group. We have the Queen of Stones. Wonderful bear energy there. The Two of Stones. The World Tree. And the Six of Vessels. Okay, dearies, so you have the Queen of Stones, and of course it's got this ancient cave bear. She's actually coming out of her cave. Oh, bears. What can I say about bears? I do so love them. The bear, also you could think about the bear as being like the protector of the land. In Arthurian legend, the bear is a symbol of power and protection. And you are, I also see this as you being a very, a person that a lot of people might be attracted to. You have a natural generosity and pragmatism and a certain mojo. You got some bear mojo going on, and a lot of people may find that attractive. I would say that in this power, usually when you see this, there is like an expansion coming out of your cave, like coming into community. However, it's paired with the Hermit. So I would say that maybe you you might find this time a little bit challenging as you're coming into a time of introspection and reflection, and perhaps even like taking stock of listening to what you're really wanting in life, and what kind of projects, people, creativity, relationships, just kind of taking stock of all the things that you've collected in your magic basket as you've gone along. It's also paired with the World Tree, and I really love this iteration of the World Tree. It has a labyrinth at its base, and just reminding us of all the twists and turns that life can take. And the World Tree it's at the heart of everything. And it speaks about the process, your entire journey. It's the culmination of the journey. It's the last of the major arcana in this deck, and it talks about, you know, all the twists of the turns of your journey, and it may relate to material gain and wealth, also education and learning. All of that is culminating in something. And the last card we drew was a wonderful Six of Vessels, which I do so love. It is a card of soulmates. It is a card of divine union. It could be with another person. You see those two little frisky river otters in the side over here, drinking from the wellspring or the waters of life. It could also talk about reuniting with a certain part of yourself, and that would speak again to if we pair it with the Hermit card. It could speak about finding maybe pieces of yourself, or working with the creative side of yourself. Maybe you haven't had time to do that. Maybe you haven't had time to listen to that. And you know, it looks like there's a little bit of a challenging time ahead of you. So I would say that you might find solace in music. You might find solace in the arts. Definitely some solitude and introspection heading your way. However, the ultimate into that, and the culmination of that, is most wonderful. It's maybe you're even reflecting on your life, on the great journey that you've had so far, and that's going to bring you to this place of finding pieces of yourself that, or reuniting with pieces of yourself that maybe have been buried, maybe have been lost, maybe you haven't been listening to them. Okay, we're going to pick some Baba Yaga, Lenormand, my new favorite cheeky little deck. Let's see what she has to say here. The Yaga, well, definitely something. There's two. I'm going to pick one more. And there you go. There's one more. Okay, little timepiece group here. I'm going to scoop these guys over just a little bit so we can get it all in the shot. Right. So, the ship, the book, and the fox. Okay. I would say that the ship always denotes that there's some kind of travel. That could be a metaphorical travel. However, it could also indicate, especially when we're looking at the Hermit card and some of the other cards that we have here in the reading for you, that it might be a calling to a retreat. You know, you might be being asked to retreat from something, to retreat from the stress and the kind of those like little petty things in life that can stress all of us. And in this retreat, there's some retrospection. There's some kind of education. You've got the book right below the ship. So that with the World Tree too, I would reiterate that there's some sort of learning process that could be happening for you. So maybe some kind of creative process paired with an educational pursuit and or a personal education pursuit. There might be some sort of spiritual practice that you have been wanting to pursue during this time. And it ends with the fox. Now, the fox is one of those cards that traditionally has been read as there could be some deception. There's several ways to read the fox, and in this particular spread, I'm not seeing any kind of deceptive energy whatsoever. I see very powerful introspection and a very powerful time for you to collect your energies and to move away from those challenges of everyday life and to go to your own direction. Sometimes also the fox would, the fox is a trailblazer. You see a fox running across a field at dawn or at dusk and carving its own path through that field, going on its own hunt. The fox is a wonderful card to get with the card of the hermit. And during this, as Virgo energy is coming in, it's a wonderful thing to end with. So I would say, dear spirits, friends, and family who chose this wonderful time, you chose the timepiece, an old way of looking at time, a deeper time, something that, stepping away from the modern world and all of its challenges and its little stresses that keep throwing themselves at us like tiny pebbles all day long. Stepping away from that and listening deeply to what your inner self and your creative nature is calling you to do, and that paired with some education, educating yourself and finding the knowledge and seeking that out can help to reunite you with parts of yourself that have been gone for a very long time, maybe even lifetimes, if that calls to you and your beliefs. And then finding a way to carve your own way, walking yourself across that field at a beautiful time of day, and seeing the absolute beauty of the world around you, of the creation of nature. Yeah. So there you have it, dearies. There's a book and the world tree in this reading. We do have a little vessel of books that was an option. There's timestamps in the notes. So if you want to get a little more information, that could be something that you would want to listen to as well. All right. Good luck. Hello to all of you who chose this little sparkling matchbox, El Corazon. It has a lovely heart on it. Okay. So much to be said about that, but we will just put that in the corner, and we're going to start with drawing a couple of oracle cards, and also I am, this one just definitely wants to come out. Really digging working with archetype cards, with the oracle cards, to kind of get us started on the flavor of our reading. Okay, we're going to draw a couple more here. So today's focus is what aspects or things can we focus on during this time. It is a nod to all of the Virgos out there, but we all can definitely learn a lot from Virgo energy. It's a wonderful, gentle sign, the sign of introspection and going to your inner realms. And also, Virgos are very, very organized and meticulous, so it's a good time to think about those things and what we might bring into our lives or what we should focus on. Ooh, the Alchemist. Transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. Wonderful card for this reading. Then we have Moonlight. And we also have Seasons of the Moon and Flame. Okay, let's get started. Okay, dear heart group. I'm just going to call you guys heart group. I love it that you pick the heart. Okay, so starting with the Alchemist card. Alchemists were and are known to be ones who work with the powers of nature in order to transform the essences of life, even below that, in order to transform and morph things into a different state of being. It's got a wonderful picture there of an alchemist who they're working with some items, and they're doing a little spell. So this could be time for you, heart group, to think about how you are working with the essences, the basic essences of life, in order to work on the details of what is to come. Now that's paired with Moonlight, which is a wonderful card. The moon, intuition, of course, and maybe not thinking too practically about things. So, in alchemy, you work with very specific rules, and maybe this card is telling you that you need to loosen up a little bit and leave room for being able to follow your intuition about things, and maybe be a little less practical about what you're doing. And that is followed by the Seasons of Moon and Flame, which is basically the will, or the will of the year, and the cycles of nature. So I'm seeing that as you are moving forward with perhaps your heart's desire, that you're really working with the essences of life, the basis of all that is, so that you can come into something. Let's see. We need a little more information before we go too heavily into this. So I'm just going to scooch these over a little bit. Okay, and pick up the tarot cards. This one. Wow, these just flipped right over, so I'm going to pick those. All right, let's see what we've got here, shall we? Okay. Ooh, the Nine of Vessels. The Stag. Ten of Vessels. Wonderful card. And you have the Ace of Bows. I feel like there's something missing right here. So, yeah. We'll get to that in a second. All right. So, as it pertains to our question, what can you focus on during this time? What are the things that are surfacing for you that need some attention, that need some focus? what's in the very near future for you. And I'm seeing that there's a lot of introspection happening. That was a theme in group number 1 as well. But with your group and with your group, it's really speaking to finding this alchemical process that's going to help you gain your heart's desire and or even realize what that heart's desire is, but not to think too practically about it, to work instead with the cyclic nature of things. The Nine of Vessels, of course, it's the card of both giving and receiving, but I'm seeing this as absolute gratitude, letting that gratitude, letting the life force come through you and out into the world, and your cups are just overflowing, and you're giving that back. You're giving that back to the world. It is a time of working intensely on something, and that's followed by the stag, universal balance, also having this responsibility where it has to do with being a protector, especially of the natural realm of things. That, oh, dearies, there, down below you have the Ten of Vessels, which is the card of happiness. So that which you give, you receive. To give is to receive. And there's this incredible joy, this incredible happiness that will be coming in as you're working with this aspect or this process. And the Ace of Bows, you've got some fire coming into the picture of the ends. You know, the stag and the alchemist together. There's a lot of great energy of a person who might like to work with the processes of transformation and change, and not only on a personal level, but giving that. You've got the Nine of Vessels and the giving of yourself, your knowledge, your happiness, your gratitude out into the world. I think you're really working with the cycles of life and things on a larger arc, you know, a larger picture look at how what you do can help transform things in the world. I would just remember not to be too practical about it as you have this moon card. Okay, I'm going to draw some Lenormand cards. New fave little deck here. Okay, what would the wisdom of the Baba Yaga have to say here? Wah! Okay, la la la. I'm gonna pick a couple more. 3's good. Okay, what do we have? The bear. Interestingly enough, we had a bear in the first reading from a different deck. Bear is a very powerful card. It usually has to do with power, authority figure. I'm seeing that as you, dear group number 2, and how you can use your power in order to help transform things on a greater level. It's going to it's larger work in the world, but it's also going to feed you and your heart's desire, because that's who you are. That's followed by the hands. Let's see what else we have here. And the tree. I'm laughing because I have to keep stopping the camera because I have a 120-pound dog, Ajax the Great, who has decided to make a lot of noise during this filming session. So he, Ajax, is giving his blessing to this reading. So sorry for the starts and the stops, but it all has to do with my great big dog. Okay. So these are the 3 cards, the Lenormand, that we pick. So we talked about the bear a little bit, which I think definitely lends itself to who you are as a person and this kind of power that you yield. You know what you're doing. You know how to mix things to help things morph and transform. You know how to work with the cycles of life. You've got gratitude on your side. All this is going to bring you happiness. It's also bringing in some new energy. Maybe I'm seeing maybe a new project. The last two cards I would say is just a little bit of something to think about. And here we've got these two disembodied hands that are threading a needle. Now, in some of the traditional Baba Yaga tales, the disembodied hands appear. They're her servants. She commands them, so she claps her hands, and then all of a sudden, these two hands floating in air just do the work that she bids them to do. This is taking the place in the traditional Lenormand deck as the cross. So I would say something to keep in mind is perhaps going into this not having kind of a blind following to this cause. You need to keep your eyes opened. You don't do things in like this servitude kind of way totally. I'm not saying that service is a bad way to go. Just don't do things blindly. Maybe don't do things blindly because someone is telling you to do it. I don't see that anywhere else in your spread. It's just something to think about because it came up. And then also with the tree card, I would say that make sure that you're practicing some self-care along the way too, because you've got a big job ahead of you. There's something very large that you are working on, something that is not just a personal project, even though this definitely will lead to your ultimate happiness and your heart's desire. Before we leave, these Baba Yaga Lenormand also has some personal notes on the cards from the Baba Yaga, and I thought that I would just read them because they're great fun. They're very snarky. So with the bear, the Yaga says, "I turned the prince into a bear for a reason. It turned out to be a great investment." Like I said, snarky, kind of fun though. And the hands, or the servants, "The hands come whenever I call, so will your hands if you don't leave me alone with all these questions." And the tree, let's see, your roots are showing, lean in. So that's what Little Miss Cheeky Baba Yaga has to say. But all in all, dear heart group, always known as the heart group, yeah, you've got some big work. Don't be so practical about it. Use your intuition. Follow your dreams. Give. Have gratitude. And you have a lot of responsibility coming for you, but you definitely are one that can handle it. So blessings on your journey, dearie, and good luck. Hello, dear Vessel of Books group. I picked this up at some studios around the area that this wonderful artist had made all these tiny little books and put them inside these vessels. So perhaps you were drawn to this because you are involved in some educational process, or it's something that you're thinking about, but just, I don't know if that speaks to you or not. We're going to put that right up here and get started with a couple of draws from an archetype deck and 2 oracle decks, just to kind of get the flavor. Okay, we're going to actually draw an archetype deck. As I told the other 2 groups, I'm just really enjoying working with some archetype decks and the mix of things. These are Okay, we're going to go with this one, kind of jumping up here. There we go. Okay, so let's see, my dear book vessel group. Let's start with the archetype. The dilettante. Ooh. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to the danger of being superficial in your pursuits. Interesting. Let's put this one right here. Okay. Then we have cracking the cosmic egg. Ooh, this one has been coming up a lot. This one actually, I do a nightly oracle card pull just for fun for everyone, and this one came up just last night. So I love to see this in the spread, especially when we're talking about these energies and possibilities, things that you need to know or concentrate on, the details of what you need to be concentrating on as we're heading into Virgo and some deep introspection. Okay, we have a great start to this reading, especially where it has to do with what you chose. So dilettante, usually is someone who is just dabbling, has dabbled in something, dabbled in painting, maybe dabbled in spiritual pursuits, dabbled in this, done some yoga, knows how to garden a little bit, knows how to do printmaking a smidgen, maybe took a ceramics class back in college, but a dilettante has dabbled. And what I am seeing here is this going away from just dabbling in a little bit of everything, because you have cracking the cosmic egg and metamorphosis like side by side. So cracking the cosmic egg is basically has to do with, there is something in you. Okay, there is something very creative inside of you, and it needs to be born out into the world. You need to crack yourself open and let that come out. Perhaps you have dabbled because you have wanted to explore creativity, but you haven't quite wanted to take the time and the effort needed to master one particular thing. Well, I think maybe you have something inside of you that wants to study, that wants to educate yourself, wants to perhaps find wisdom in that one particular thing and crack it open, because, oh dearie, your gifts need to be seen by the world. Your gifts are just that. They are a gift. They are given not to be kept inside, not to be sealed inside. They need to come out into the world. And that is followed by the Metamorphosis card. This is a lovely card. You, of course, have these lovely two little flamingos down here. You also have a chrysalis and a butterfly. And as you know, turning into a butterfly is not a process for the faint of heart. It turns to goo inside the chrysalis as it's forming from one of its states into another. And then when it emerges from the chrysalis, it has wings and it can fly. So I'm seeing here that this has everything to do with taking this time and really starting to focus on what you have inside of you that needs to be born. So with that, we're going to draw some tarot cards. Okay, let's see what we've got. We have the Five of Vessels, Ecstasy, nice card. The Five of Arrows, the Archer. in the moon on water. Okay, I think this is these are wonderful cards that pair really well with how or the feeling of your reading thus far. I think that the Five of Vessels. So, as a creative individual in the world, you could be really hooked on that feeling of making, of creating, of doing. That gives you this feeling of ecstasy. You're in the flow. That flow feels amazing, absolutely amazing. And you've always wanted to stay in this flow state of things. However, with the card of frustration that's right beside of it, I would say that as you are, maybe you've not been able to choose in the past of what you wanted to focus on directly, and maybe you feel like you haven't hit your mark. So in this card, you see an archer, and that archer is flinging arrows, and that arrow is not hitting this lovely ram that you see. So, perhaps you felt like you love this idea of creating, you love this idea of dedicating yourself, learning more of the knowledge around a certain pursuit, and at the same time, maybe you've tried that before and you've felt some frustration in that. And the other two cards, there's also an archer in this card, and it's telling you to focus. It's saying that you have this quiver of arrows. You have all these tools. You have learned, by being a dilettante, you have learned how to do many, 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 many things. And you are equipped with all of this knowledge and tools. All you need to do is draw the right arrow, focus your gaze, and let that arrow fling, okay? It could be that this is something that this particular time, your work is actually letting it surface. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna draw some Lenormand cards. Use this little Baba Yaga deck, which, as if you've watched my other video, you know it's my new favorite deck. It's a little bit cheeky, but that's okay. So, let's see. What does the Baba Yaga have to tell us today about this situation and how we might work with these? Let's take one from the bottom, and let's take one from the top. Okay. The clover, wonderful card of luck. The doll. We'll talk about that in a second. Oh, and the heart. The heart, we talked a lot about the heart in the, I'm calling them the heart group, the little matchbox that had El Corazon, or the heart, on it. So if for some reason you feel like you might want to watch that one. That one was a really good reading as well. Okay, so these three cards have are a wonderful ending in this. Even though you may have experienced some frustration in the past, and that may keep you kind of locked up with your creativity, it's saying that you have all the luck in the world going forward. This is a wonderful card in the deck. It is what it is. It is the Four of Clovers. As many of you know, the Lenormand are pretty straightforward in their interpretation. And so when you pull that four-leaf clover out of the patch and you press it into your favorite book, you are setting the intention and bringing luck to you with your project. In the traditional Lenormand deck, this is typically the card of the woman. In the Baba Yaga deck, it is the little doll. So when Vasilisa, it's the story of Vasilisa and Baba Yaga. There's many Baba Yaga tales, but this one is probably one of the most popular. And when Vasilisa's mother was dying on her deathbed, she handed Vasilisa this tiny doll to keep in her pocket. And this doll would help her in her life. She had to remember to give it a little bit of food, a little bit of water, to take care of this doll, to feed this doll. And throughout the stories, the doll offered Vasilisa help in many different ways. So I would say listen to your intuition here and make sure you're taking care of that part of yourself. And that intuition is going to help you choose what you're going to be focusing on. And that choice, dear vessel of books, vessel of knowledge group, is going to lead to your heart's desire. So whatever is going on for you is really going to feed you very well here, and as you're moving forward. So I would love to hear about this reading and how it is working in your life. Feel free to leave a comment below, and blessings on your journey, and good luck, dearies.